Welcome everyone. Today we are going to study or discuss the T mode solutions to circular waveguide. In the last video we have seen the rectangular waveguide and its T mode analysis. So now we will go towards the circular waveguide and its T mode analysis. Okay, so what is a circular waveguide? First of all, we have seen that during the introduction to waveguides. It's another hollow round metal pipe or metallic tube which also supports the T and TM mode of the EM wave propagation. So on your screen you can see the geometry of such circular waveguide with inner radius of A. So here you can see this is the radius. Now since the geometry of this waveguide is circular or cylindrical, it is obvious that we should employ cylindrical coordinates rather than our usual coordinates, that is rectangular coordinates. So x, y, z are now transformed to rho, phi and z, where rho is a radial distance, phi is angular distance and z is a direction of wave propagation. Okay, so rho, as you can see, is corresponding to x, phi, y, which is this one, is corresponding to now angular distance phi, and z is as usual our direction of wave propagation. Okay, so let's use the cylindrical coordinates for this analysis. As in the rectangular coordinate case, transverse field components in cylindrical coordinates can be derived from Ez or Hz field components for T and Tm mode. So how to do that? For that you can watch the separate video of general solutions of waveguide in case of cylindrical coordinates. So the cylindrical components of the transfer field, these are summarized in this one particularly. So how these are obtained, you can refer a separate video for that. Again, the similar concepts have been applied where k square, whatever you are observing here, will be wave number, and kc square will be cutoff wave number, where kc square is a k square minus beta square, beta is a propagation constant, and e raised to minus z beta z propagation has been assumed, so which is denoting our z coordinate. So these are the general solutions. Now we have to apply these to the circular waveguide and find the value of e rho, e phi, h rho and h phi for circular waveguide. These are general solutions in cylindrical coordinate. Now we have to apply this to the circular waveguide. Okay, so let's look at how to do that. Now we all know that for TE mode, the tangential component Ez or longitudinal component Ez is always 0, and Hz has a solution to the wave equation which is given by Helmholtz equation, del square plus k square into Hz is equal to 0. This is Helmholtz equation. Okay, so if Hz of a function of rho phi and z is given as Hz of rho phi into e raised to minus z beta z, this e raised to minus z beta z represents our z coordinate. It can be expressed in the cylindrical coordinates as second order derivative taken here, dou 2 by dou rho square plus 1 upon rho, dou by dou rho plus 1 upon rho square, dou 2 by dou phi square plus kc square into Hz rho phi equal to 0. Now how this is obtained? Now actually this Hz rho phi is consisting of rho phi and z, as said here. So this is a second order differential equation. You can see there are rho terms, phi terms, but no z terms. So where has z term gone? Now as I said, z corresponds to e raised to minus z beta z. So first order differential of this one will be equal to minus j beta with respect to z. Then we have to take it twice because this is second order differential. So minus j beta into minus j beta will be j square beta square. So j square beta square is nothing but minus beta square. Okay, that you can find out this calculation in the general solutions of transverse field. Okay, so minus beta square, and already we have k square in the Helmholtz equation. So k square minus beta square is comprised in the kc square. Okay, so this is how kc square is now observed in this particular equation. So similar to our rectangular waveguide procedure, now we have to apply the method of separation of variables. Now this equation does not contain any z component. Okay, so all of them are either function of rho or phi. So hz of rho phi is now equal to r of rho into p of phi. Okay, so substituting this equation into this one, we can get this equation. Now second order derivative with respect to rho and phi. How to obtain that? This is simple multiplication. So apply the rule of multiplication to the second order differential equation. First make this constant, find out with respect to phi, derivative with respect to phi. Then make phi constant and find out derivative with respect to rho. If you do that, you will get this equation. Okay, so this is left to you, finding out second order derivative by doing derivative of multiplication of r rho p phi. Okay, so right now just remember this is the answer. So moving on, we have to find the solution. Now we can rearrange this equation again. Now if you observe, it contains two terms or terms into two variables. One is a rho and another is a phi. So I can rearrange this. Also in this one, you can observe there is 1 upon rho square. So I can multiply entire equation by rho square. Here also rho square. 0 into rho square, that will be 0. But rho square into this term will be giving you rho square into numerator and rho into numerator for second term of this particular equation, and this 1 upon rho square will get cancelled, so that this term, particular term, will be solely comprising of only phi square. Okay, so multiplying this equation by rho square on the both side, we will get, and rearranging it, we will get rho square upon r d2r by d rho square, rho upon r dr by d rho, plus rho square kc square is equal to, now I have taken that left hand side onto the right hand side, 1 minus 1 upon p d2p upon d phi square. So if you observe, left hand side is comprising of only rho, whereas right hand side is comprising of only phi term. Okay, so left side of this equation depends only on rho and not phi, while the right side depends only on phi and not rho. So if they are equal to, combinedly equal to 0, they must be equal to a constant, now which we will call, for right hand side we will call it as a k phi. So minus 1 upon p d2p upon d phi square is equal to k phi square, or if we rearrange that, taking this onto the right hand side, we will get this equation, d2p upon d phi square plus k phi square p into 0. Okay, this is the rearrangement. So in addition to this, if we substitute this k phi into the original equation, which is here, if we substitute this k phi in here, then what will happen? It will give this particular equation. Okay, so again you can see that. Let me show you. Sorry. These two are compared, so we will get this equation. Now here you will observe r is in the numerator. Now this r we are removing, so multiplying this by r, you will get this r into the numerator. So now since this is equal to 0, multiplying by r will not affect. Okay, so the general solution to this particular equation is given by p phi is equal to a sin k phi phi plus b cos k phi phi. Okay, since phi is a angular distance or angular coordinate, it is. Now angle is a periodic, that means it repeats itself after 360 degree or 2 pi radians. So sine function and cosine function will repeat their values after 2 pi radians. So in this case we can rename this k phi as a integer. Okay, because it is periodic, so k phi will be nothing but a integer, because values of sine k phi phi and cos k phi phi will repeat after 2 pi radians. So replacing k phi with an integer will give us p phi equal to a sin n phi b cos n phi, where n is nothing but now an integer which is denoting k phi. Okay, and then the equation phi becomes, what is equation phi? Let's see again. This equation becomes, now substituting k phi is equal to n, so here k phi square will become n square. Okay, so nothing else changes, only this term will change. So equation phi becomes rho square d2r by d rho square plus rho into dr by d rho plus rho square kc square minus n square. Here you can see k phi is replaced by n into r is equal to 0. Okay, now this particular equation, second order differential, is recognized as a Bessel's differential equation. So that means the solution to this equation can be given by only Bessel function, and that solution is given by Bessel function is r rho is equal to, now why r rho? As you can see, there are only rho terms over here, no phi terms, because phi is now is a integer n square. R rho is equal to Cjn k0 plus dyn k0. Okay, where Jn and Yn are first and second kind of Bessel function. So we will see the values of these Bessel functions in later on. Because Yn is a second kind of Bessel function, it becomes infinite at rho is equal to 0. Remember, rho is a radial distance. So rho is equal to 0 means you are at a center of the circular waveguide, and at the center the Yn term, that is second kind of Bessel function, becomes infinite, and that is physically unacceptable for circular waveguide. So this d term will become 0. So solution of Hz can be simplified to, now again remember, solution of Hz is r rho into p phi. What is p phi? P phi is this one. Okay, what is r rho? R rho is this one. In this r rho, d is 0, because at rho is equal to 0, second kind will become infinite and d has to be 0 to mitigate that. So r rho remains only Cjn k0. Now multiply these two, 9 and 7, with d is equal to 0, we will get solution for Hz. So Hz is given as a sin n phi plus b cos n phi, which is from p phi, and jn k0, which is from r rho. Now where is c gone? C is another constant, so c is absorbed into a and b. What does that mean? Usually you will get c over here, because C J N K C rho is a solution of R rho. So what we have done here, C is multiplied by A, whatever the value comes, A into C, it will be another constant. So we have assumed that also A. You can denote differently like A dash or B dash also, but I have, or generally it is given as A into C is another constant. So let's call it again as A. Similarly, B into C will be another constant, so call it again as a B. So C is absorbed into A and B. Now this A is larger than this A, and this B is larger than this B. This A is larger than this A, and this B is larger than this B. Okay, so A dash we can call, which is A into C, B dash which is B into C, is absorbing C. So this is the solution for Hz. Now we have to find out E rho, E phi, H rho and H phi. Now we have already seen at the beginning of this video the general solutions of transverse fields in cylindrical coordinate. Use them to find out the E rho, E phi and H rho, H phi. So let's see that. Now to find that, first of all we have to consider the boundary conditions. So as I said, this constant C has been absorbed into constant A and B. Now to determine values such as wave number, wave impedance, cutoff frequency, we have to apply the boundary conditions. Now boundary conditions, again remember what are the boundary for circular waveguide. This is Z direction along the center of the circular waveguide. Now Ez is 0, E phi, which is a function of rho and phi, because Z is not considered, because Ez is 0, we are not considering Z. E rho phi is equal to 0 at rho equal to A. How does that come? Now rho is equal to A means it's radius. Now when it is radius, the angular component along the circumference will be obviously 0, no angle. So boundary condition at rho equal to A is equal to E phi will be 0. That is, angular component of electric field will be 0 when radius is equal to radial distance. Again I am repeating, angular component of electric field will be 0 at radial distance equal to radius of a circular waveguide. Now use this boundary condition to find E phi and Hz as E phi, which is a function of rho, phi and z. Let's consider z again. So z will be denoting e raised to minus j beta z, and E phi of rho phi we have already found out from previous expression, this one, and general field equations in cylindrical coordinate. So in you referring the general solutions for cylindrical coordinate, j omega mu upon kc into this term a sin n phi plus b cos n phi multiplied by z dash n kc rho. Z dash n is a derivative. Why we are taking derivative here? Let's go back to the general solution. Okay, so this is E phi. Here we are having a dou Ez upon dou phi with respect to phi. Here we are taking a derivative with respect to phi, and that's why we have a z dash n instead of jn in the actual answer for E phi for circular waveguide. So let's go back to our solution. So I hope it is clear how these values have come. J omega mu upon kc is from the general solution. This is from the our obtained solution for circular waveguide. This is R rho A sin n phi plus B cos n phi, and Z dash n because we are taking partial derivative. Now this term remains as it is because it is not related to dou Ez by dou phi, so it is constant as it is. Now as I said, z dash n refers to derivative of zn with respect to its argument. For if I to vanish at rho equal to a, we must have zn z dash n kca equal to 0. Okay, now rho here it is given as rho. Now at rho equal to a, it will become z dash n kca. Now z dash n kca has to be 0 for if I to vanish. Why? Now for boundary this value is 0. Okay, now these values cannot be 0, these are non-zero value. E raised to minus z beta z cannot be 0. Okay, it is non-zero value. So only thing that can be 0 is the derivative of Bessel function, and that's why we must have z dash n kc a instead of rho. Now I am saying a because this is a boundary condition. Z dash n kc a is equal to 0. Okay, so how to find the derivative of Bessel function? The roots of derivative of Bessel function are defined as p dash nm. So dash z dash p dash nm is equal to 0, where p dash nm is a mth root of derivative of Bessel function, and kc must have a value. Kc nm is given as p dash nm upon a. Now this Bessel function values are already derived by the scientist named Bessel, so you don't have to find out that. Values of p dash nm are given in mathematical tables. First few values are listed in table below. So p dash n1, p dash n2, p dash n3 for different values of n that are given. Okay, so values of p dash nm for TE modes of circular waveguide, these are already given. Use them to find your solutions. Okay, so this is the way in which you can find out wave number for cutoff frequency, that is kcnm. Okay, so let's go forward further. The TNM modes are thus defined by the cutoff wave number kcnm is equal to p dash nm upon a, where n refers to the number of circumferential variations, so phi, and m refers to the number of radial variations, that is rho. Okay, so the propagation constant beta in the TNM mode. Now here we are using TNM convention. In the rectangular we have referred TMN. Here since we are using cylindrical coordinates, we are using TNM mode because n refers to phi and m refers to rho. Okay, beta nm is equal to k square minus kc square, and substituting kc is equal to p dash nm divided by, we will get this answer. Okay, so cutoff frequency, we know that general formula is kc upon 2 pi into square root of mu into epsilon. Substitute kc value as rho dash nm upon a, sorry, p dash nm upon a, not rho dash, p dash nm upon a. You will get cutoff frequency for circular waveguide. Now if you substitute different values of n and m into this equation, we will get different values which will be shown in the table later on. So the first TE mode to propagate in this mode with the smallest p dash nm, which from table is seen to be TE11 mode. So what is the smallest p dash nm? Because that will be our first mode. So smallest p dash nm, what is the smallest value in this table? Refer this table. What is the smallest value? I think this is the smallest value of p dash n. It is p dash n1. What is the value of n for this p dash n1? N is referring to 1, so it is nothing but p dash 11 is the smallest value, which is equal to 1.841. so this is the first mode that propagates through the waveguide. So what does that mean? That means p dash 01 will not be propagated first. Why? We will see later on. Let's see. We have found out p dash 11 is the smallest value, that will be the first mode. So p dash 11 means the mode corresponding that p dash 11 is nothing but T11 mode. Okay, p dash 11 corresponds to T11 because 11 refers to the mode. So TE11 mode is the first mode which is propagating through the circular waveguide, and this mode is therefore the dominant mode of the circular waveguide and one of the most frequently used mode in the circular waveguide. Because m has to be greater than 1, there is no TE10 mode. Okay, now why m has to be greater than mode 1? M is corresponding to rho. Okay, so rho is always considered to be greater than 1. That's why T10 mode will not be there, but there is T01 mode. Why 10 mode will not be there? Let's see. What is the value of P dash N M for 10? This is 1. There is no 0. P dash N0 is not there. Is it there? No, because P dash is itself a derivative of the original Bessel function. P dash refers to Z dash. Z dash is a derivative of Jn, and there is no Pn0. So no mode with m is equal to 0 exists in the circular waveguide. So for m is equal to 0, there is no mode in circular waveguide, because already we have seen these are the derivatives of the Bessel function. So there is no value such as 0 in derivative for the Bessel function. So the no mode corresponding to m is equal to 0, and that's why there is no T10 mode, but there is T01 mode, because n can be 0. In this table you can see n can be 0, all these three values, but m cannot be 0. So T01 mode does not exist, but T01 mode do exist, but T10 mode or T20 or T30, that will not exist. Okay, and that's why, because of the previous reasons I said, there is m should be always greater than or equal to 1. M is equal to 0 mode or m is equal to 0 does not exist in the P dash NM table. Okay, so rho cannot be equal to 0, because at rho equal to 0, m corresponds to rho, and if m is equal to 0, that means, sorry, let me explain again. M corresponds to rho, we know that, and if m tends to 0 like this, then that means rho is equal to 0, and at rho is equal to 0, it becomes infinite, that we have seen here. At rho is equal to 0, that means radial distance equal to 0, then it cannot be possible in the circular waveguide. Okay, so this is how the T mode analysis of this can be done. Further, you can calculate also transverse field components of the entire circular waveguide. These are obtained, all of these are obtained from the general solution. Refer general solutions and calculate all the transverse field components. Substitute values of uh, r rho and p phi. Find the derivative. You will get these values. Okay, so e raised to minus z by z beta z refers to z coordinate. Remaining components similarly can be obtained. Here in this equation, here is it has to be z dash n. Okay, so wave impedance you can obtain by e rho upon e rho upon h phi or e phi upon h rho. You can find out that, and it observed to be eta k upon beta. Similarly, you can find out attenuation constant due to lossy waveguide conductor by finding power loss per unit length of a guide, and that formula comes out to be this one. Okay, so these are the some important parameters using the T mode analysis of circular waveguide. On the similar pattern, you can find out TM mode analysis, which will be much simpler compared to TE mode, because much of the concepts of the circular waveguide are covered in the TE mode analysis. So TM mode analysis has to be much simpler. So that is about circular waveguide, and that's all for today. Thank you.